Well, this is interesting. I did a video yesterday on the current state of the RNLI and the fact that they could be in very, very big trouble because people are getting totally cheesed off with what's going on at the moment. That video garnered thousands and thousands and thousands of views. So it just goes to show you it's an important subject which gets people's attention. And what I want to do with this video is run through some of those comments that you've made. And, you know, we get the general feeling of how people feel. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Let me know in the comments, and thank you for visiting me again and for the support. It's greatly appreciated. Like the old merch where it says in the background there, like, subscribe, comment, continue to do all those things. This channel will continue to grow. Thank you very much indeed. Well, what I wanted to do was go back over some of the comments that you made on the RNLI video I did yesterday. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. It's all to do with, you know, where they could be heading really, and it's choppy waters, pardon the pun. So here goes. Right, first, Graham. I used to donate to the RNLI, but no more. There's no way I'm donating to the illegal immigrants ferry service. Mick Moose, sorry if I mispronounced it. None of our family gives to the RNLI anymore and never will again. Red flag, giving them a lift now. Not quite sure what that means. Just Blondie, the news article was from 2 years ago when this was happening. Are they still doing it now? Yes, they are, Just Blondie, every single day. Clive Smith, my only problem is we need to know how many of these are real asylum seekers. In a nutshell, I am ashamed of all of you people who have stopped donating. Where is your humanity? Retired lifeboatman. It's not... I understand why people have stopped donating. Because, like anything, we have the thing put in front of us, don't we? And we work out what's going on. And there are various examples out there of the RNLI literally being embroiled in this. And it creates a very, very bad taste in the mouth. It truly does. Now, if they are proper asylum seekers, why are they paying somebody X amount, thousands of pounds to come over on one of these rubber dinghies? Why not take one of the more safer known routes to asylum in this country, or alternately an embassy in another country? The whole thing is just a gigantic mess, isn't it? And, you know, I have nothing against, you know, this. Lived in a seaside town my entire life. I say this, I refer to the RNLI. I've had friends in the RNLI. We've known people for 40 years that served in there. So at some point in time, it was very worthwhile. But this is just slowly destroying it. And I do fear for its future, if I'm honest. Thank you for your input, Clive. Ed Holmes, it intrigues me as to how an idiot puts themselves in danger and it's my fault and I need to rescue them. Try that on a raft down the Amazon and see what happens. I don't like being taken for a fool. The left will have you believe that these are all victims of persecution and war and everything else, and they're coming. You know, I don't doubt there might be the odd one or two, but in the main, it's an organised relocation. And if you look at the demographic, who were actually in these boats, in these dinghies, where are the women? Where are the children? This is the same question over and over and over again. I know as a man responsible for a family, wife and children, if my country was in tatters, it would be my wife and children that turned up on the shore of another country, not me. That makes sense, does it? Or maybe I'm just going loopy. Loopy Cabby instead of Gabby Cabby. Peter Haynes, my thoughts exactly, but the RNLI must be getting well paid for running this taxi service for illegals. Defund them. is another comment. Road 2, long before this misappropriation of a once great organisation, they had started spending large amounts on swimming lessons and burkinis for girls in Tanzania. That's come out. While dismissing volunteers and cutting back on some rescue services, I began cutting back on my donations back then, and now regrettably have ceased all donations. Like I said in the video, I used to go around door to door with my old man collecting for the RNLI, and they had these plastic orange lifeboats. You could fill them up, no problem at all. You know, people would gladly donate what they had. I'd be interested in, you know, if I repeated that exercise now, whether you'd still get the same generosity at the door. Somehow I doubt it. Here's another one. Peter Lear. I was in the Merchant Navy for quite a few years and donated yearly to be a governor. I stopped donating a long time ago after ordering Christmas cards and then being asked how much I was donating on top of my payment for the cards. The call centre operative was very rude when I told her that I was not making a donation. I have great respect for the crew and local volunteers, but the top management needs their head looking at. By the way, does anyone know what it costs to send a boat out on a shout? I know it's not cheap. Is the government paying? If so, how many extra civil servants have been taken on? Angela, I would never support traitors. Russ, that's not my Russ, by the way. I stopped my direct debit 18 months ago. It was only a tenner a month, but whenever we visited the coast, I'd always drop 20 quid in, especially going to Lou every year, and our apartment is right behind the RNLI station. We're finished with them. Another one, James Barrett. I used to collect the RNLI when they did the job donated for. I am horrified and disgusted that the organisation is being ambushed by both immigrants and our government in the way it is today. I would not contribute one penny to them at present. How about BA flying them in for free and us paying for it? Nah. Ian Kirkpatrick, yeah, a 5-year contract. Chris Tempter, the Royal Navy. After all, it was formed to defend the waters around the UK. Do you remember when they got involved and the boats or ships or whatever the proper term is, they weren't suitable for the task and couldn't actively get involved at all? Ruth, I no longer support the RNLI. If someone asks me, I shall tell them that I will not pay for a taxi service for illegal immigrants, full stop. Percy Monster, I said when this latest wave started that I believe the numbers of migrants we're getting now are part of the Brexit deal that we were never told about. Maybe even that money that's supposed to stop them is the money the EU demanded in disguise. You could well be right, you know. I mean, we never get told the absolute truth about anything, do we? Ian Craig, the RNLI save lives regardless of colour, nationality, that's it. If you don't care about humanity, have no empathy, just shut up. That's Ian Craig. So basically, if we don't agree with your opinion, shut up. Is that correct? I see what you're saying. The RNLI is supposed to save lives. Absolutely right. And it shouldn't differentiate. But unfortunately, as the news article itself said, they're turning down people in need of rescue because they're all taken up with this, which should not be happening at the end of the day. Got to ask yourself. Charlie Drake, let the criminals in government pay for them. They're importing our destruction. Mark, George Soros is probably funding them to bring in illegals. Gareth Miles, never a penny from me, ever again. Bruce, we found out that every rubber boat has a man on it with an envelope with money in it, which works out for every head on that boat, gives the money to the RNLI. Give the RNLI nothing. David Mullen, the RNLI is run by volunteers who agree to be called from their jobs to respond to emergency calls along the coast. What puzzles me here is just what is this migrant explosion, and the way it's been foisted onto the service has impacted on these volunteers' lives. Fewer may be getting 3 call-outs a week, and now it's perhaps every single day more or less. How are these volunteers keeping their jobs, their sanity and their families? If you volunteered for the RNLI, is this what you volunteered for? Very, very poignant comment that, David. Very poignant. You know, it is run by volunteers. I have the greatest respect for, you know, the crews that drop everything to go and save somebody in distress. And now the whole service, the RNLI, is being disjointed and bended away from its true purpose of rescuing people. It's a disaster in the making, definitely. Couple more comments. Mark DeMart, taxi service for illegal immigrants. RNLI will not be getting any money from me. Next one, I think you're being unfair to the RNLI. Once they pick somebody out of the sea, then they are legally on UK territory. So you can't land them anywhere other than the UK. Is that right? Now that one I didn't know. Can anyone corroborate that, or have you got some experience of that? You know, that's a very interesting remark to finish up on. Anyway, there you go, some comments, 10 or 11 minutes. Thank you very much for indulging me, your support and everything else as usual. And I'll see you soon with another one. Toodaloo.